I know. Okay. Call the meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the invocation and the pledge led by Mr. Mark Sorensen?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for all the many blessings that you put on us. We also pray for our employees wherever they may be. Keep them safe. And also we pray for you to be here with us tonight as we go through our agenda. Help us save money for this county. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask clerk to please call the roll.
John McCoy.
Here.
Tim Finley.
Here.
Robert Rich.
Here.
Brad Poulter.
Here.
David McCleary.
Here.
Les Post. Teresa Backhold.
Here.
Joe Zinger.
Here.
Brent Fisher.
Here.
Todd Dusterhouse.
Here.
Brett Austin.
Here.
Keith Calloway.
Here.
Mark Sorensen.
Here.
Barbara Fletcher.
Here.
Raheem Camper.
Here.
Dave Bellis.
Here.
Marvin Kirkhoff. Here. Mark Dietrich.
Here.
Steve McQueen.
Here.
Travis Cooley.
Here.
Kent Snyder.
Here.
20 here, 1 absent.
20 here, 1 absent. I declare a quorum. I would ask Stephanie Ogle to please come forward.
No, I'm a little nervous. What's going on? Making me a little nervous. Oh my God.
So, for those of you who don't know, Stephanie Ogle is the Deputy Treasurer for Adams County. She has been employed by the county since December. I always get it wrong.
Like 29 years full-time, but I started in 92 part-time under Howard Weir Jr. So Brian's my 6th treasurer that I've worked for.
And
He's very easy to work for, I will say that.
well, I'm easy to work for
Yep.
because she makes my life easy
Oh,
and
nice.
the lives of everybody else who works in this building.
Ryan's not so easy, I'll be honest. I love it, but not quite as easy as Brian.
So she's got her hands full down in our hallway, but I don't think I'd be overstepping it to say that she is sort of the heart and soul of our
Thank
civil
you.
side of the courthouse.
Thank you.
And she is somebody who I've never heard a bad word about.
Oh, thank
Which,
you.
when you work in an office where people aren't always happy when they come, is saying something. And she's never said no, or I can't, or I won't in my 5 years here.
Thank you.
So the next time will be the first time. So this is an award to
Aw,
show the county's
nice.
appreciation, certainly my appreciation. I think the county boards who
Thank
keep
you.
supplied
nice.
with the financial information for the county. An appreciation of Stephanie Ogle in recognition
Thank
of your
you.
steadfast commitment to the citizens of Adams County, Illinois, and our treasurer's
Thank
office.
you. Thank you, guys.
Personnel file to see when she started. Came across this, and I thought it perfectly encapsulates what Stephanie is. This is a memo from 2008. Conversation with Gretchen of First Bankers Trust. She had an incorrect date for maturity on a recently used CD. Stephanie noticed it. Gretchen praised Stephanie, saying, "We were lucky to have someone like her working in our office. She is thorough. Someone like that is not only just doing her job, she is enjoying it." I added that she is also quick and has a great attitude about jumping in and helping wherever help is needed,
Oh,
and that's continued to be the case. And
thank you. Thank you.
That's what we-
I have to say, it's an honor working for Adams County, and I enjoy every bit of it. It's a surprise, so sorry. But the best part of Adams County is the coworkers. We're like a family, and that's what makes it fun to come here every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I know I'm crying, because I'm not a crier. Thank you so much. And I like Ryan. Just give him a hard time.
Well, I'm glad somebody likes Ryan. Okay, our next announcement we have to make is happy birthday to Krista. Today is her birthday. I think she's 15.
I'll take it.
And no one wants to sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Krista. Happy birthday to you.
That was all Ryan's idea.
You're gonna get me in trouble, Chairman.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve minutes as printed.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Distrow, second by Ms. Fletcher. Any corrections?
One correction, please. On the Public Health and Safety Committee report, I was not there. The report was made by Mr. Sorensen. If you look at the top of the second paragraph.
Oh, okay. Make a note of that, Ryan.
Yep, we'll correct it.
Okay. Okay, other than that correction, any others? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Transportation Building Technology, Mr. Bellis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your committee met tonight at 6 o'clock in the law library, reviewed all the bills, seemed to be in order. We had a report from Highway Department, Information Technology Department, Courthouse Maintenance. The county engineer reminded us June 25th, there will be another solar farm hearing here in the courtroom at, I believe it was 6 o'clock. The courthouse maintenance is working on, I believe it's 1B. They kind of got ahead of schedule with that, and anyway, they've been slugging them out. Very happy to see the mold disappear. Out of the old carpet and paint and all that stuff. And we have a resolution number 3, resolution, if the clerk would call it.
Resolution number 2024-06-501-020, resolution granting a special use permit to 789 North 550th Avenue LLC and its parent company Summit Ridge Energy LLC for the construction operation of a 2.125 megawatt capacity commercial solar energy facility known as Quincy McNay Solar Project in Fall Creek Township.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Encamper,
Second.
second by Mr. McCleary. Discussion?
This is the public hearing we had a few weeks ago. Anyway, any other questions?
Just confirming they've met all the requirements, is that correct?
Correct, and they still have to go through the building permit. Yes.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
New business, the subcommittee met on the, I believe it was the 21st of May. And then we met again this afternoon at 4 o'clock to talk about the courthouse HVAC with the 2 engineering firms. If you look on your desk, the clerk made copies of each bid that we had received. The original, on May, I think it was 21st when we met, it was a unanimous vote for one of the 2 firms, but then some questions came up after the meeting on some pricing. So we talked tonight that we could either vote on it or give you a month to look this over and vote on it next month.
Does your committee have a recommendation?
Tonight we didn't, per se. Last month we did, or 2 weeks ago.
So the question came up after the last committee meeting was there wasn't when we were looking at the numbers from one firm included a design fee, the numbers from the other one didn't. So naturally the one without the design fee was cheaper. Once we clarified that after the meeting and then got the design fee from the other firm, then everything changed. So looking at that kind of changed the numbers. Now these are all, best guesses from the firms. the design fee, you know, in my opinion, is probably the only thing that they can affect. Everything else is gonna be based on the bidding that comes in on the jobs. But, there is one local, group here, and there's one from out of town. That weighs kind of on my opinion on the matter. I'd rather spend money locally myself, but obviously this is the whole board's decision, so that's where I'm at on it.
Are the two firms proposing the same systems?
Some, yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Options.
yeah, but again, this is because it's once they get into the design phase and going through things, something may come up that may change. Because this is all just based off of a study and best guess, to start. So, but all those options were on the table. It seemed from both firms.
So going through the proposal response from Architect Nix, it looked like there was some cost estimates for asbestos abatement, also the testing that would be associated with that, and that those were kind of more absolute numbers. Does that track with what you guys were seeing in your committee too, that those were given as some hard costs? And then in the other estimate, not saying that they couldn't get there, but in the other estimate, it seemed like it was more kind of a contingency type thing.
Yeah, so there was, from what my understanding on it is it's, if we encounter it, this is what we're guessing, because no one knows for sure what they'll run into. So that's kind of how it came back.
Well, not to be flip about it, but the cornerstone on the outside of the building says 1950, so I think we can assume where we're going to end up, at least in part of that. So is it possible that if we tabled this for a month, is it possible we could get kind of a Excel spreadsheet side by side and make it even a little bit clearer? Because one of these is in a Excel kind of graph format, tracks pretty easily, and the other one's kind of a narrative, which it's not a problem. I mean, you read through it and get the gist of it, but it'd be nice to see those like side by side and see if all those costs are lining up.
I don't think anyone has a problem with.
Yeah.
We discussed that earlier as well. We thought that some people may have questions and may want a little more time to ponder over it. So.
And just so you know, neither one includes a contingency. So we'd like to get 5 or 10% in there.
Okay, it talks about it in the one narrative, and then it actually, correct. The other one is not.
Correct.
Okay.
And they're all, it's all guessing right now.
Yep. So for the finance committee perspective as well, Mr. Bellis, do we want to bring up the roof part too?
Yes. Where the tower is, the cooling tower, new equipment will have to be put up there. So that section is right. It's spongy now. They patched around the exterior like 5 feet. Everybody took a tour a couple weeks ago. It's real spongy. So the roof will have to be replaced in that one section of closest over by the new jail.
Yeah, so when they pull the one cooling tower off the roof is going to have to be repaired underneath of it, essentially is what it is. So that would kind of roll into the cost of the project, but it could be separate from the project. We can bid that out for
We
repair.
wouldn't necessarily need engineering for the roof replacement, but that would be the equipment placement would be their portion.
Well, how about if we got to the point where we could do kind of a column by column match? That would be very helpful. As long as we're talking about the same types of systems now, I think that's able to be done. And then I certainly volunteer to help with that and see where we're at, and put contingency in that, and then try to get closer to the apples to apples theoretical kind of deal. I think it's great that you went back and kept this open, because it looks like there was some consideration and some discussion about, hey, we could use part of our existing system, and that was in this type of arrangement. If it was like a closed bid thing, we probably wouldn't have gone back and done that, but in an open kind of RFP thing, I think it's important that we vet all those different scenarios. So, good on the committee for keeping that open and getting back to a point where we can have that kind of flexibility. But I think now it's time for, if we're going to be involved as the finance committee, now it's time to kind of really put those two columns together and get contingency in there and all that kind of stuff. And I'll certainly help with that, and I'm sure the rest of the guys on the finance committee would like to review that too. So I would make a motion to table this for 1 month based on getting a line-to-line comparison as much as we can, a line-to-line comparison and a cost comparison together, and address this in the July round of meetings.
Okay, just for clarification, these are all stab in the dark guesses.
That's what I was just gonna say is, these
I mean-
cost estimates are literally just an estimate of what they think it might cost.
I understand
So,
that.
I mean,
And I
there
think
could
they
be
both-
a
Yeah, I
big
think,
swing. Really, I think what we should be looking at the most right now is what the cost is for each firm, what it's gonna cost us, and which firm is gonna do us the best job.
Yeah, basically, it's the design part of it really is the,
Because they're gonna send it out to bid to basically the same people we'd be bidding
yeah,
on it when they turn the bids in.
chances are real good that it'd be a local contractor doing the works. Or, all
So-
the roof and all the HVAC stuff, but one firm is a fixed rate and one is a percentage of the contractor's bid.
I understand that, and that's why I'm asking, is because it's very clear right off the first pass and the first, phase of this that one bid had an actual budget number, estimated budget number for asbestos removal, and one didn't. So that's why I want to see the line-to-line thing, because it wasn't as close to being competitive, or as Mr. Hincamper said, one of them had the design fee in it and one of them didn't, right? So that wasn't even, if you just compared those two things, you could have had a really skewed view of this. So even though we all understand they're just very first preliminary estimates, having all the line items in there would be good. And so I, again, would make a motion to table this for 1 month, just to get the two estimates side by side and the line items in line, and also with a contingency estimate. And the whole thing, we just call it estimated budget worksheet right at the top, right on the header. No one will think it's an actual bid, and then we'll go from there if that's agreeable to everybody. That's my motion.
Fine with me.
So I just add that, and I agree with everything everybody said. I think these are very directional quotes. So until we pick somebody, we're not going to get a tighter quote than what we have right now, because it's just a big estimation. So I think in talking and listening to those folks as we went through that, we got a really good rundown on the types of systems. So I think we kind of know where we want to go there. I think the only thing, the line by line that Brett's talking about at this moment helps, is that it might allow us to kind of ask a few more questions and tighten some things up a bit. But, it wouldn't hurt to take the time to look at it just a little bit more. I think they're both
Yeah,
very
and-
capable.
In the one from Architectoniques, if you look at the fourth page, I guess, on your handout there, the option number 3, 4-pipe chilled water, hot water, that's the one we're looking at. And then on the other one, well, it's the same thing, different company. So that would be, Architectoniques has environmental asbestos abatement, $350,000. And the other one, if you look at page 2, they have, I just saw it here.
It shows 400.
Okay. I just had it. So, pick a number.
So I think in the final analysis, what I took away anyway from the time we spent on this and meeting with both these companies is that maybe what, the 4-pipe system was the way they both kind of ended up taking us when it all came down to it. And they didn't speak against the VRF version of this, but there seemed to be more more on the 4-pipe system. So I think that part's good. If we can get the line by line and lay it down, maybe ask some questions and get a little more information, maybe we can tighten this up a little bit, hopefully in our favor, but, you know, it probably wouldn't hurt to take 30 days to look at it and make sure we all are on the same page about, you know, what we're looking
Yeah,
at.
absolutely.
So I second your motion, Mr. Austin.
And I had a question too. And that is, when I'm looking at this without having the second spreadsheet, I mean, I see there's like a $177,000 difference between the two bids. They both are using Mitsubishi, looks like the same equipment. But the one thing I
No,
noticed.
you're looking at the wrong page. Sorry, it's
Okay,
page
because I'm looking, because I
4.
remember seemed like the one guy that came out was using.
That's what they talked about, but that is.
Again, I wasn't at the meeting, I'm just
right.
looking
The
at what
committee
you
has
got here.
shied away from that one.
Okay, that's fair. Second thing is too, is I remember, one was gonna be using the, chiller and then reusing the copper piping, whereas the other one, don't remember, but were they going to eliminate and bypass all that?
They both have talked about maybe possibly reusing some stuff.
So it'd be
Yes.
trying to use this, continue
Some
to
of
use
it.
the same
Yeah,
equipment.
some of
So $177,000 and is it basically is the bottom line? Okay.
Again,
Well,
thank you.
some of that is they're not gonna know till they get into the project, so it's kind of a stab in the dark at this point.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Austin and a second by Mr. McQueen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll table this for 1 month and hopefully have a firm recommendation by the committee. And then
Yeah, we'll try to get with both firms and see if we can break it down even better. But there again, it's just a stab in the dark for both of them.
Sure.
Maybe,
Yep.
maybe the numbers will get lower.
Brett, when you're asking for like side by side comparison, are you thinking like side by side of the design services and the consulting, or side by side of the
Yes.
system that they're installing?
No, just kind of 20,000 foot in the air looking down at it kind of thing. Like, do they both have asbestos sampling? Do they both have design services? Are those included in the original? Those types of thing. I think they got all the high level categories there. I don't see anything that's missing. I think both people addressed it. But, you know, for one, I would point out that one says asbestos sampling included in design fee with a pretty low testing figure, and one says a pretty high figure for the same thing. So maybe just coming at it from two different angles, and maybe one's
I
not
think
as-
one says abatement and the other one says testing.
Correct.
So then there's a difference between the two.
correct. So that's the kind of thing. Just really, if you had 10 line items that come, you know, kind of compared, I think that's just the high level thing, just to make sure nothing's getting missed, because that initial, from our talk at the finance committee meeting yesterday, that initial worry is there because one had design fees in it and one didn't, and that's kind of a big difference to not know right off the bat if we were going to vote on something. So just a step back and a pause, and to make sure those things line up.
What contingency fee would you be comfortable with on this project, do you think?
I think all of these projects have typically a 8 to 10% contingency fee.
Okay, we'll ask both firms to add that to their list so we can compare.
Yeah, that's fair. You're not really guiding anything because you're not in a bid situation, so you need to let them come up with their own creative ideas, which reusing chillers and pipes is that idea, but also just making sure they're on the same system. So I don't think we have to worry about any sort of guiding or steering or anything like that. We're not in a bid proposal, but I would leave it open to both firms to kind of create their own ideas of how they're going to approach it too.
Anything else, Mr. Bellis?
Nope. Our next meeting is going to be July 9th at 6 o'clock in the Law Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bellis. Legislative and Judicial, Dr. Rich.
Mr. Chairman, the committee met this evening at 5:45, reviewed bills to the circuit clerk, juvenile detention center, probation department, public defender, state's attorney, supervisor assessments, and all the bills are in order. We had some discussions on some action items. Mr. Foster brought us up to date on the juvenile detention center. Things are actually operating quite well out there. He gave us the number of people out. We still have room for more people there. If we had more staff, we're 7 people short. However, we're within budget. He had 2 things that we were going to send off to finance with an extra part-time person to help with drug testing, and then of course we got some contracts we're going to do at the health department for nursing services and the like, all of which will fit within the budget, but they're going to be referred to finance and approved there. We've got some ordinances, resolutions here. I'll let the clerk read the first.
Ordinance number 2024-06-001-017, resolution to change the Adams County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, Article 3, Section 5, and Chapter 1, Article 6, Section 4.1 and 4.2.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Rich,
Second.
second by Ms. Bachhold. Discussion.
This went over at the request of the board. We reviewed this last month, and basically we reappoint our representative to the Joint Review Board every 2 years in November, so we pick up the new chairman if needed. Also, we're going to have an agenda attached and a request for meetings and that type of thing. We requested the meetings, but it's all been approved before. Really nothing outstanding. I'd recommend approval.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Clerk, please read B.
Ordinance number 2024-06-001-018, resolution to change the Adams County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 1, per diem allowances.
This is just an update to bring things more up to date on costs and the like. Nothing's going to really be budget effective. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Rich,
Second.
second by Ms. Bachhold. All in favor? Opposed?
Resolution C.
Resolution number 2024-06-121-019, resolution adopting ordinance number 2024-06-121-019 for the approval of the election judges nominated by the established political parties.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rich, second by Mr. Kirkhoff.
This we have to do for the election. It goes approval by the county board, then it goes state's attorney's office, and there's quite a list of God bless election judges. It's a long, hard day and underappreciated and whatever, but we've got a fine list of both the D's and R's to do this, so I'd recommend approving it.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Have one appointment. I'll have the clerk read.
We have a reappointment of Melvin Mowerline of the Adams County Fire Protection effective on the first day of May 2024 and to expire the first Monday of May 2027.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Rich.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bachhold. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appointment is approved.
This is the season. We have quite a list of liquor licenses. I would request that the clerk read A through D, and we'll approve them all at once.
Special one-day liquor permits for Central Illinois Wrestling Corporation Summerfest 2024 to be held at Bailey Park in Camp Point, Illinois on July 13th at 3 p.m. Special liquor permit for Adams County Fairgrounds for the Adams County Fair from July 24th to July 30th, starting at 6 p.m. through midnight on July 30th, 2024. Special one-day liquor permit for Adams County Fairgrounds Tractor Pull to be held on June 30th, 2024 from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. And a special one-day permit for the Golden Fall Festival on September 6th and 7th and 8th of the year 2024 from 4 p.m. on September 6th through 6 p.m. on September 8th.
Motion to approve all the above.
Motion by Mr. Rich, second by Mr. Kirkhoff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Liquor licenses are approved.
Pyrotechnic displays, we have A through E. I would request the clerk read all 5 of them.
We have pyrotechnic display for Oakwood Acres to be held on July 5th at 9:30. Pyrotechnic display for Rob Ebbing to be held on July 13th and July 14th at 9:30. A pyrotechnic display for Spring Lake Association be held on July 6th at 9:30. A pyrotechnic display request for the Village of Camp Point to be held on July 4th at 9:30. And a pyrotechnic display permit for Sheridan Swim Club to be held on July 4th at 9:30 p.m.
Motion to approve all the above.
Motion
I'll
by
second
Mr.
it.
Rich, second by Mr. McCoy. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
I'm remiss on the liquor licenses. We need to correct, it's Bailey Park, not Balti Park in Camp Point. And otherwise, we're still looking at wind ordinances and probably battery farms, et cetera, but we're working with the county engineer on all that. And our next meeting will be July 9th at 5:45 in the boardroom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rich. Public Health and Safety, Mrs. Fletcher.
Thank you. Your Public Health and Safety Committee met this evening at 5:30 in the ROE conference room. We went over the bills from the ambulance and EMS, the Sheriff's Department, the coroner, the VAC, and the animal control. Bills were reviewed and all appeared to be in order. There was no speaker. We received a written department report from the sheriff. They reported, that there was one new hire and that the average jail population for the month of May was 120. There was no report from the VAC today. The EMA and ambulance reported business as usual and that they are in conversation with the city about the repairing of the sirens. Sorry, I've got a cold. The coroner reported that for the month of May 2024, there were 74 reported deaths, 2 autopsies, 1 abandoned remain, 34 cremation permits issued, and 1 suicide. There was no other business. The committee will meet again on July 9th, 2024 in the ROE conference room at 5:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fletcher. Executive Committee, we moved everything to finance, but
Yeah, we just real quick, we met June 3rd at 5:30 here in County Board meeting, or County Board room. We just talked in generalities about some ARPA related stuff, which we'll go over in finance, and then we also talked in some broad terms about some of the child care program stuff that was kind of put in front of us as an ARPA matching program. And then we also talked a little bit about budgeting, but we'll cover that in finance too. Our next executive council meeting will be July 1st at 5:30 here in the county boardroom.
thank you, Mr. Austin. You want to go ahead with finance?
Sure. We met yesterday here, June 10th, at 6 o'clock in the county boardroom. We reviewed all our bills. Everything seemed to be in order. We didn't have any other specific reports. We did have one resolution that we were going to read tonight, but we had some discussion about that. And we've got a couple things that we still want to flush out and vet. Basically, the premise of it is establishing a clearing account or a line of credit account, however you want to phrase that, in order to pay vendors directly online in a timely way, started getting away from paper checks for some of our larger, more consistent vendors, and then how we clear that out, and also in conjunction with the new credit card system that the county clerk and county treasurer have been setting up. So we tabled that for 1 month, so that's going to come back around, and we're going to work on a couple of the items with the clerk and the treasurer about exactly how the functions of that will work. Additional fund appropriation, if the clerk could read that, please.
Additional fund appropriation from Sheriff Grutens in the amount of $19,900 to expense account number 236-231-5713, Sheriff COVID-19 for revised budget amount of $19,900.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Austin,
Second.
second by Mr. Poulter. Discussion?
Just a legacy account with $19,900 in it that the sheriff is asking to open up the expense side so they can use that money, and we'll use it down to zero and close the account.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
John McCoy,
Yes.
Tim Finley,
Yes.
Robert Rich,
Yes.
Brad Poulter,
Yes.
David McCleary,
Yes.
Les Post, Teresa Bachhold,
Yes.
Joe Zanger,
Yes.
Brent Fisher,
Yes.
Todd Oosterhouse,
Yes.
Brett Austin,
Yes.
Keith Calloway,
Aye.
Mark Sorensen,
Yes.
Bart Fletcher,
Yes.
Rainey Camper,
Aye.
Dave Bellis,
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Mark Dietrich,
Yes.
Steve McQueen,
Yes.
Travis Cooley,
Yes.
Ken Snyder.
Yes.
19 in favor, 1 absent.
20 in favor, 1 absent. Fund appropriation is approved.
Next, we have a transfer fund appropriation from supervisor assessments. Clerk could read that, please.
We have a transfer fund appropriation from Georgine Zimmerman, Supervisor of Assessments, the amount of $5,000 from account number 00100159999 contingency for revised budget amount of $195,000 and $5,000 to account number 00116154443 Supervisor of Assessments fees appraisal for revised budget amount of $7,500.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Austin, second by Mr. Bellis. Discussion?
We talked about this last month. This is putting some money from contingency into supervisor of assessments budget in order to perform an appraisal on a value disputed property, and so this gets her up to where she needs to be to cover that. And I believe the process has already started on the appraisal.
Any questions? Roll call vote.
John McCoy,
Yes.
Tim Finley,
Yes.
Robert Rich,
Yes.
Brad Poulter,
Yes.
David McCleary,
Yes.
Les Post, Teresa Bachhold,
Yes.
Joe Zanger,
Yes.
Brent Fisher,
Yes.
Todd Oosterhouse,
Yes.
Brett Austin,
Yes.
Keith Calloway,
Aye.
Mark Sorensen,
Yes.
Bart Fletcher,
Yes.
Rainey Camper,
Aye.
Dave Bellis,
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff, Mark Dietrich,
Yes.
Steve McQueen,
Yes.
Travis Cooley,
Yes.
Kent Snyder.
Yes.
20 in favor, 1 absent.
20 in favor, 1 absent. The fund appropriation is approved.
We discussed some budget items in the finance committee meeting. Essentially where we're at is loading up a couple of years of legacy budgets into the new ClearGov software. I'm beginning the lion's share of the work has been done by Amy Carruthers, and I'm playing along and trying to learn as fast as I can. And then beginning next week, we're going to start doing some one-on-ones with the department heads so that they know how to enter their numbers into the software. It's pretty intuitive and pretty easy. I think the biggest struggle for us is just getting the legacy data in. So we hope to have all of that up and running through this year-to-date budget within the next few weeks, and then we can really start to zero in on what our budget needs are. This is also the budget software that allows for more capital budget planning, which we'll get into in the next budget year cycle. We didn't talk about this at finance, but while we're here, I did get some updates on the insurance. Last couple of months have been a little bit of a hard hit to our insurance plan. We're still running in the black in terms of our aggregate amount, but these last couple of months did see a lot of claims, and we're approaching our specific deductible, aggregate deductible on several cases, which is when we hit the max on those. So we'll keep an eye on that. We had some carryover from last year, and we budgeted the same amount as we had last year with the carryover. So we should be in good shape, and we continue to look for all of the plan design things that we can to save money on the plan side without impacting our employees. So, and then last but not least, we talked about the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act money. We specifically talked about making sure that all the amounts are correct to where we've spent for the past at least 2, maybe 3 months now. You can find that on our website. We're pretty accurate. We found a couple things that we need to update. We'll continue to work on that, Ryan and I, with a couple of the items that we're trying to track down and make sure they're 100% spent out. And then we also have interest money that's accrued, and we are looking at that child care plan. We talked about a possibility of an extension of one of the bathroom/polling place programs, and then we also talked about that the Adams County Fairgrounds area in their wastewater treatment area as they make these other infrastructure improvements. There might be a ripple effect of needing to improve the wastewater retention part. So all those are on the table. Right now, it looks like we have somewhere around about $280,000 of unallocated money, and we have one project with the riverfront underground burial line deal that doesn't look like it's going to go forward, and that was $200,000. So we have a possibility of around between $430,000 and $480,000 of unallocated money, which needs to be allocated by the end of this year. So we're looking for how those other programs are going and whether or not we need to look at an allocation into other programming. One of which on the most talked about side was the child care, employment and retention kind of programming. So that was just a general discussion. We didn't take any other action. Ryan, you and I need to make sure that spreadsheet is accurate on the website this next week, because we had that one with the public defender, and then that gets continuously updated so anybody on the board or in the public can go look at what we spent our money on. I believe that was it, and we will meet July 8th here at the county boardroom at 6 o'clock for the next finance meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Unfinished business.
No travel vouchers. We've got monthly reports from the Supervisor of Assessments, Board of Review, Juvenile Detention Center, the County Clerk and Recorder's Office, the Public Defender, the Circuit Clerk and Probation Department, monthly check register for May 2024, and Fund Summary Report for May 2024, including revenue and expenses.
Motion to receive, file, and forward.
Motion by Mr. Deuschhaus.
Second.
Second by Mr. Zanger. All in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
We have an appointment of Rich Zeidler to the 3-year appointment to the 377 Board.
Move to approve.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Fisher.
Second.
Second by Ms. Fletcher. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Appointment is approved.
We have correspondences from the Ameren, Illinois on upcoming vegetation activities, and a thank you correspondence from the Poulter family.
Motion to receive, file, and forward.
Motion by Mr. Deuschhaus.
Second.
Second by Mr. Zanger. All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. We have no executive session for this evening, so we would stand in recess until July 9th. Thank you.